Now we're going to work on assembling our open Christmas box. Um, I've printed out the Pringles can decorations and the hot chocolate wrap, and I have a few other wraps. We're going to be doing a chip bag wrap and something that I've done for Hershey's wraps, because I like printing everything since it's so cheap to print with the EcoTank printers. So I print the gold looking foil for my Hershey's, and then sometimes I add the wrap into that template that I made, or sometimes I put it around the top. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do tonight, but I will show you when I get to that step. So let's go ahead. I'm going to get these cut out on the Cricut, and then I'll be back. So while I have the red background printing for this, I'm going to go ahead and do the chip bag. So I'm just going to turn it over, and the way that I do mine, I do a bit of a pre-fold by lining up the white area and making sure that the bottom is lined up all the way across as well as the top. And then rather than doing a hard fold, I just kind of do a press so that I can at least get that fold impression in there, so that it will be easy for me to hold it with one hand while I apply the hot glue. So I'm going to be using hot glue for this one, and I just run the hot glue just a thin line down the middle of that white line, and then I make sure everything is lined up and just run my fingers up the middle. Sometimes it'll stick a little, some seeps out, and I usually will just run my hand through there to puff it up a bit. Now I like to seal the top because I want the top seal to be absolutely perfect. The bottom seal I can work with a little better later, but I do like for the top seal to always be perfect. So I'm going to run my hot glue along this top. Hopefully I have enough. Yeah, I had enough glue to make it. And then I put it kind of low and then press it upward so that it doesn't come out through the top. So I put the glue line about right here, and then when I press it upward so that it will seal to the top of my bag. And I usually like to trim off the white. Sometimes I keep it, depending. Now I'm going to stuff in my Doritos. And all I do because you can't line this up well, as you can see, it makes like a curvy line. If you pinch in, I call it the waist of the chip bag a little bit, it makes it where you can line that end up perfectly. So I'm going to put a little more glue in my glue gun. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to close off this end, and I'm going to put my glue down far enough and then squeeze it toward the top again, so that it's not coming out of the edges. And then later on I can trim off that excess white. Some people leave it on. I like this white line, but I don't necessarily like these, so I usually trim those off so that the bag can look just completely colored rather than having that white edge. So we have our chip bag done. I'll put that out the way, and I'll move on to the Hershey. Now this is something that the Hershey wrap is something I've only done a couple of times, so it might take me a couple of tries to get it exactly where I want it. But I usually fold down these edges so that I can get it lined up in there, and then I just bring up my sides. And I check it to make sure that it's looking good. I want to make sure it's lined up well. So looks like I need to adjust this a little bit. So I will adjust it before I upload it to my channel so that it will do the complete cover. But you get the idea of how it goes. It will just make it so that you don't have to buy additional wraps. You can just use this. So I see I do need to make some adjustments with it, and I will do that, like I said, before I upload it. All I have to do is crop this one and make it a little longer. That'll be it. And then it should be just fine. So for now, I'm just going to go with it, just so you get the idea of how it looks. I'm going to put a dab of glue on each side of here. And then do the same thing down here. So I just tuck these in a little bit on both sides. And then I'm just going to bring that up to make that end. And then I'm just going to put some glue on there to hold it in place. And it makes for a pretty nice wrap. I could have pulled that out a little more so the gold would have been even on each side. I think I'll pull it up some because I want it to be even on each side. But it will be, like I said, perfect when I upload it to my channel. I'm just going to pull those down a little bit so that we'll get some gold on each side. So there's the look with the wrap built in. Alright, so we'll put that one to the side. Next we'll do the Swiss Miss wrap. Now I made mine a little bigger so that it would be easier to get it on. So all you would need to do for those who are doing the Swiss Miss wrap, I'm just going to fold in these sides. It's already long enough. I'm going to fold in the sides. And then I think what I'll do is, I think I want to seal up, see if I can seal up 3 sides. This is the first time I've ever done a Swiss Miss wrap. So I'm going to see if I could seal up 3 sides and then add in my Swiss Miss. I'm going to put it a thin line very close to the edge so that I have plenty of room to get my bag in there. I just did a really thin line of hot glue. Kind of doing it like the chip bag a little bit. I'm going to continue it down here because if I didn't do that first, it might have been more difficult to get that on. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish that out. Then we'll see if we can get our bag in there. Like I said, this is first time trial and error, so let's see if it works. I'm going to fold in those edges and push that all the way in, and looks like it's going to fit perfectly. So now I just have to, oh, looks like I have a little opening I missed up here, so I'll put a little hot glue in there and close that back up. So yeah, the size that I made it is perfect for the Swiss Miss. If you're going to use a different brand of chocolate, you might want to try it out first and make sure that it will fit, or you might have to make a little adjustment in your template. But seeing that it's just a square, it makes it pretty easy to do. And I'm just going to go across And so we have the Swiss Miss wrap. Got a little glue on my hand. So now we have the Swiss Miss wrap. That looks good. I'll set that to the side. And I already did my Milk Dud wrap. Usually for the Milk Dud, I only do the top piece. So I just made this top piece, and I'll put all the measurements in the comment section on this YouTube video so that you'll have all the measurements that I use. But I just made a quick little wrap or a quick little cover for the Milk Duds package. We'll put that to the side. And now we're on to the Pringles wrap. So I'll move that out the way. And to start with my Pringles wrap, I wanted a Christmas tree in my dome. I thought it would look really good. So what I did was I made two little Christmas trees. I made the mirror images of themselves, and I added the gifts to the bottom so that I would have a place to hide the portion that that I'm going to actually, I think I'm not going to use that. I was going to put a piece of paper in and then fold it out both ways so that I could put it in there, but oh yeah, I can use my gold glitter. So I'll use my gold glitter, and I will do that. So let me get a piece of scrap paper, and it doesn't matter what I use. This is one of my wine labels from some wedding favors that I'm making, and I'm just going to find my scissors. Just going to cut just a corner, a little section right here. I'm going to fold it in half, and then I'm going to fold a portion of it again, and this is just so that I will have the section that I'm going to put between my Christmas tree so that I'll be able to make it stand. So now I'm just going to fold this both ways, and then once I put it in the Christmas tree, once I put the Christmas tree on, these two sections will be glued to the top like that, and then my Christmas tree will stand up straight. So first I'm going to attach my Christmas tree, and I made a few different tops to see which one I like the best. I had another one, I don't know where it went, but first I'm going to just attach these, and what I like to do is line them up first so that it will be easy for me to put the glue in and keep them aligned properly. So I'm just making sure I have them lined up well, and then I just place it on the board, carefully pick up one side of one end, and I'm just going to put a little drop on the star and then a little V shape for the rest of it. I'm going to press it in place, pull off any extra glue that might seep out of the areas where you don't want. Then I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to put some more glue, but I'm going to leave it open where the presents are so that I could put in the base, this little base that I'm adding. So I'm going to stick this in like this, and then have it coming out just like that on both sides. So I'm just making a good crease in there. And I'm going to put some hot glue on both sides. Just a little bit of hot glue on both sides. Then I'm going to stick my little folding piece up in there and open it up like so. Once I get it straight, put it on the table to make sure that my tree is standing up straight. And yeah, it'll stand up just like that. Now let me get my gold glitter. Well, what is this? Yeah, it's a gold confetti. So I got this at Michael's. I think it was like $10. All right, so now I have my tree. I'm ready to start on my Pringles can. So first thing you want to do is take this top off. And I just sit this on. I don't glue it on. I just sit it on. And then I put the top back on. And for this tab, I don't put it up under here. I guess I could. Maybe I should do that, and then it'll be out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and fold it up under there so that it will be under the gold ring. And I'll put that top back on. Yeah, that works out pretty good. So now I have my rim there. And I made this wrap a little different from the other wraps that I normally do, because I didn't make it a straight edge. I wanted it to have like a snowy drift. So I'm just going to wrap it around there. I might like that and might not, but I'm going to start out with it and see what I think. And it looks pretty good. So now I'm just going to glue down the back up to attach this side together. I have to pull it back some so I can see it, so I can line it up right. And then once I attach that, I will be back. Okay, so I've attached it now, and mine, I don't like putting one at the bottom. I just like the bottom just to be solid with the design. So I'm going to leave it that way. And now I'm just going to, this part, I usually have it around this section, but I think I'm going to leave it off this time because I have the snowdrift. If I don't like it, then I'll rip this off and redo it. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach my Christmas tree now. So I'm going to put just some hot glue here and hot glue here and attach it to the top. Try to center it. So I'll turn it, make sure I have that centered, and make sure I have it standing straight up. So that's centered straight up. And then I like to try my top to see how it's going to fit. So that's looking good. Now all I need to do is add my glitter or my confetti. And I just add enough so that when it's all shaken around, it will cover the full little white area there. And what I normally do is I bring it in from the sides. And I've shown this on another tutorial, so I'm not gonna do all of this on camera so that I can make this tutorial as short as possible. But if you want to see the complete way that I do this, you can just check out that tutorial, because it takes some time to get this glitter where I want it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the camera, and then once I have that finished, I'll show you the final look on that. So now I have that portion glued on, and you can see how it looks with the little gold shaker in the top. And last but not least, I just need to add my topper, and I think I'm going to go with this one. And all I do is put a thin line of glue around it, just a very thin circle of glue, just like that, and then sit that on top and make sure that it's covering the bottom so that it makes it not look so much like a wine glass. So that's the finished look, and I kind of like the snowdrift. It looks kind of neat. So I'm going to set that to the side now. And last but not least, we're going to make our box. So I just printed this out. It's not as vivid as the rest of it, but it's alright because it's really not going to be seen unless someone just wants to look in the box. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to wrap my base with it. And if you're going to be using heavier items, I would recommend, like I did for the butterfly theme fall basket that I made, or gift box that I made for my coworker. I made it with cutting 2 of these because there was a candle in it that was quite heavy. So I made it so that the candle would not make the box fold in. So I'm just going to pre-fold these sides just to make sure that I have enough on both sides. Yeah, I have enough red on both sides. And now I think I'm going to use my pink glider for this. So I'm just going to go down just the section where I'm going to go down just where I want it to meet on the sides for now. On each side. Oops. Just what I didn't want to do. Waste that confetti. Ugh. Alright, so I'm just going to press this against the sides. And remember, these sides are going to be attached to our box edges, so it's not going to really show anyway. I'm going to go ahead and clean up this glitter, and then I'll be right back. I still have a little sparkle on there, but it's alright. So now I'm just going to finish covering my box bottom or base. So I'm just going to do this like I'm wrapping a gift. Bring it in a little bit on each end. And I just try to make it look neat just in case someone wants to look under there and see what's going on with it. Then I'm going to bring this in. And I'm just going to apply some hot glue to this side. And press it on. I might need to add a little glue to this edge as well. So just put some glue across here. And then this one I'm just going to bring it up like this. And now we have our base covered, and we can start attaching our sides. So this is the front that says "Have a wonderful holiday season," or I also made it using my name in candy cane and an H. So I usually put on the sides with the folds that go around the edges, the wraparounds first, so that they will be covered with your front pieces of the box. And also, if I was putting heavier items in this, I would have backed these up with foam core board. So I would have, not foam core, I would have backed these up with cardstock. So I would have cut cardstock to the same shape and to fit exactly behind each of these pieces so that it would make it more sturdy in case you have heavier things that are sliding back and forth. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this, and all I do is put a line of glue straight down the bottom here and then attach it to the edge of the base. Bring my base back up, put this against it, fold my corners so that I know that I have it in the right place, and then I turn it on the edge and make sure that I have it all the way at the bottom of the side so that it's gonna sit flat on the table. Then you're gonna put a little hot glue here to attach it so that it goes around the corner. And once again, you can put it on the table to make sure that it's flat. It's gonna sit flat on the table. And do the same thing on this side. Oops, sorry about that. Hit the camera. And making sure my creases are pretty good. All right, and I'll do the same thing. I'm going to put the back piece on, and then we'll be putting on the front and back. So once again, I'm making sure those creases are creased correctly. I'm going to line it up with my box here. Boy, I got these are folds dead on. I don't have any play area with those, so sometimes you might want to leave a little extra area just in case you need to move it around a little bit. But I didn't leave myself any extra room there. So I gotta get it right in the correct spot. Lay that down, make sure. Then I'm just going to put the little dot of glue on the corners. Make sure that it's straight so that I'll have good corners. And do the same thing on the other side. Which side was it? Must be this side. What? Wait. Boy, I know I didn't put it on both sides, but maybe some of it seeped around. Because, oh, there it is. That's the side I want. Let's put a little glue there. And line that up just like that. And now we're ready to put on the front pieces. I think they might be a little more forgiving. So now I'm just going to put the front pieces on. Now that we have the wraparound corners, I'm just going to attach the front portions of the box just like that. And it's hard to do it in the camera, so I'm just going to put them on and then I will be right back because I don't want to bump the camera. So I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to run a thin line of glue right along this edge. Have to speed it up because I'm putting such a thin line. And then I'm going to line that up with the front of my box. Get it in place. And then I just laid it down. Oops. Laid it down and pressed to make sure that it was attaching. And now we're just going to run some glue down each of these flaps and attach the side or the front of the box to the side. Seems like I can do it without hitting the camera. So I'm just going to run a line of glue right up in the middle of that and then line that corner up just like that. This one wasn't my best corner, so I'll make that the back of the box. But you see how it's not too bad. Let's do the same thing with this side. I'm going to put it right down the middle of that little wraparound flap, and then glue it shut. And just repeat that for all corners. I love making boxes. I like to make boxes for my chip bags or different displays, and you'll see that in some of my other tutorials. Well, not tutorials, but in some of my posts, you'll see that I've made displays. I've made displays for different treats at for parties that I've designed favors for. But I really enjoy making custom boxes. So here's the completed custom Christmas box. Now all we have to do is add in our Christmas items, and I'll do that now, and then I'll show you the completely finished look. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I'm going to put the image and pictures showing the completion. I will see you next time.